I get a lot of pushback about my kid because I'm so counting down to when he goes to college. And I get a lot of people thinking, well, big deal. It's not that big a deal. He's going to be back. And they think I'm out of my mind to think he won't be. Let me count down what happened today. Go through it all. And then it will explain why I'm saying he is not going to be welcome back in my house once he goes. So he had work this morning at 7 in the morning. And I told him to set his alarm. Because I wasn't going to wake him up to get him to work because he's such a grump in the morning. And so hateful when people wake him up and interrupt his sleep. So he set his alarm, turned it off, his phone. He put an alarm on his phone, turned off the phone, and then went in my room and plugged the phone in my my charger. Knowing that he had to get a ride, I set my alarm for about 15 minutes after and realized that he wasn't up. So I went in and told him what happened and told him he had to get up. And it was the same as normal. He ignored me, laid in bed like 4 times. I went to get him. And then I don't know if he really truly forgets that I woke him up before, but he's then starts yelling at me that I keep telling him to get up, and he's gotten up and everything. It's ridiculous. So he starts yelling at me. Now, today is Thursday, and he's supposed to put the trash out. This is his one and only chore. He's had the same chore since he was 10. This is not a difficult thing. We have a recycle bin that's already filled that you just literally have to put it out by the curb, and 1 bag of trash, which was World War III that he was going to put out the trash because he just didn't want to do it. So first it took him forever to start the process, and then he couldn't figure out, literally, because we have city trash bags, he couldn't figure out how to get the trash bag out of the can and into the city bag. So he eventually had to have me come over and help him figure this out. Again, this kid has been doing this for almost a decade. He just didn't want to do it. And then, of course, when he did it, he somehow dumped trash onto the ground. And I told him, and he's starting to tie it up. I'm like, nope, you have to do all the trash, including the stuff that hit the ground. You've got to pick it up and put it in there. And then he's hemming and hawing and having a fit about it. And then he picked it up, finally, put it in there, and he goes, oh, it's wet. I have no idea whether this is true or not. Turned around and wiped his trash hand down my back to wipe off the trash juice or whatever the hell. I mean, absolutely disgusting. But he did finally put out the trash, and we get in the car, and then he's just yelling at me and swearing at me and calling me everything under the sun the entire trip in. That was my 20-minute morning. That's life with my kid. That is not autism. That is him being an asshole in a nutshell. He doesn't want to do something, so he's going to be abusive so that he thinks he can get out of it. And yet he wants to go to work. And of course, I'm driving, so I'm wasting my gas money, wasting my time. He's absolutely insistent. I will never get a penny for it, as a matter of fact, because he was whining because he left his wallet because he's a scatterbrain. I gave him $1 so he could get something out of a vending machine if he gets thirsty or something. Still the mom. And that's what he expects. That's the lifestyle he wants. And that is why he's not allowed back into my house. because that is not autism. That's him making these choices. That's why I'm so worried that he's going to get kicked out of school. I mean, if he acts like that with his roommates, they're going to get him kicked out of the room. If he touches somebody the way he did me, which, I mean, again, he didn't hit me. He was very gentle. He was very, very disgusting. Then, he's going to be arrested. He's not coming home. And it's going to be a problem. But, yeah. So he's going to have to, act like a decent human being immediately. Or I don't know. Apparently, I'm the only person he does this with. He's got a job and he's kept a job. So he must get over his little grumpy attitude as soon as he walks through the door. And I'm probably going to get shit for putting this online. But, I said it takes a fuckload for somebody with avoidant personality disorder to kick somebody out of their life. And to put down extreme boundaries and say, this is not happening again. This is what it takes. This is the type of thing that no human being should have to live with. This is abuse. And of course, he thinks I'm abusing him because, oh my God, I made him do manual labor. I lied and said it was his alarm that went off when it was my alarm. He seriously thinks it's equivalent. I don't know. It's pure manipulation, trying to make me feel bad, trying to get me to do the stuff that he wants me to do, and I just don't and won't anymore. And I'm going to have a very serious, hardcore break with this kid. It's going to be done. Done. Yeah. But that's why I'm saying once he goes to college, that is it. He can't come home because I can't live with that anymore. It's going to be terrible to be completely by myself. I don't interact with anybody else. Not, I have a therapist I talk to once a week. I have people who are acquaintances that I recognize that know nothing about my personal life. There are people online that get a snippet of what I go through, but they don't know the real nitty-gritty of everything. There's nobody that knows the nitty-gritty of everything. So it's going to suck to have nobody in the world know me. But it's definitely not going to suck to have to put up with that abuse to have somebody know me. So, there's the avoidance, which makes it very difficult to be in a relationship, and yet people do start them. And then there's me. I mean, it's weird. I went and I moved to Philadelphia, which, oh my God, have you seen what's going on in Philadelphia? My ex is a cop. My ex is a cop because I was there to help with the process of getting through all the testing and everything else. So I was pretty guilty seeing that and worried, but last I heard, my ex was actually at the hospital where this was going down, but was not actually involved at all, which is great. Horrible, but great. That was the assignment, so no involvement whatsoever with that shooting. But I moved to Philadelphia and I thought I was going to die. I knew absolutely no one. I had no money. I had no job. I had nothing. I had this teeny tiny apartment and I would lay in it and sweat like you wouldn't believe. I went in July and I didn't have an air conditioner. I did nothing. I just laid there, literally laid there. And it was unbelievable, depressing time, but I was away from my parents. I didn't live with them, but they were still, their influence was terrible. Do I think I'm going to go through that same sort of thing again? I might, except, I have a car. So I can take off and do stuff if I want. I have access to money. Not as much as everybody else on the planet needs, but I have access to it. I live very close to the edge as far as having enough money to survive on, so it's not like I'm going to have a lot of extra cash or whatever. But then again, I live in Maine where I can literally just start walking and I'm in, some gorgeous, woods. So I don't really need to go anywhere to make things improved. I've been through this before. It's going to be an improvement being completely by myself and alone and having nobody to talk to at all. Cats. To not have every second be filled with that kind of abuse or the threat of that kind of abuse from my son. Anyway, good morning. Bye.